All right, welcome to this episode of the Junior Athlete Things. Today we've got Zayd, who will be going to Romania as part of the Perth team for Junior Worlds. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries. I guess what we'll do is talk kind of how your training's been going, how you're feeling going into Worlds. And I know you've been having like a few injuries and things that you've had to work through too. So I guess you want to start off by like saying, how's your training been going, and where with your injuries and things, where are you at?
Honestly, the last couple of weeks training's been great.
That's good.
If we leave bench for the second, squats and deads are amazing. Like, couldn't be better right now. Bench is getting there, and it's a slow burn. Like Steve likes to say, we're marinating it right now.
Yeah.
Now just letting it cook. But it's going good.
Yeah. So I guess for the listeners, what was your injury when you I think, was it at the end of last year? Yeah.
So initially I had a grade 2 pec tear. It was like 6 weeks out from Nats. And then as we slowly inched closer to Nats, it just got worse and tore a bit more, and one squatted, and then it just got a bit worse and worse. And then at Nats on my third bench, it ruptured.
Right.
And then finished off deads, and then I had surgery on 2 weeks later to reattach that back to the bone. And then here we are, four-ish months later.
How did you find?
Crazy, because you did open nationals as well as a junior. So going into juniors, you would have had the time to prep for juniors, and during that time the pec was already in pain.
So the reason we elected to do open rather than juniors, because I had a testicular torsion. So that was I think also around 6 weeks out from junior Nats. That 6 week mark's dangerous.
It's a rough timeline. Very rough timeline.
So the 6 weeks out from that, had a testicular torsion, couldn't lift for 4-ish weeks, wasn't allowed to brace. And so we elected to do open Nats. And I think it was the literal Monday after junior Nats happened that I got the grade 2 pec tear. So it was literally the day after. If I had done junior Nats, it tore.
Yeah. Right. So you were training with a torn pec into opens. How was that?
So great. I loved it so much. It was interesting. In terms of the worst part was probably squats, because bench was I don't know, bench was all right. My problem with the pec was I never really had any pain with it. I'd just go from being okay, and I'd warm up and do reps, and then I'd get to I don't know, my fourth last warm up of what I'd proposed and thought my top set would be on the day, and I just feel it start tearing, and then as it got worse, it'd be tearing more. But it's because it wasn't very painful, I just feel a tearing sensation or small pop. So it's if I wasn't really actively paying attention to that, I wouldn't really notice it too much, which is why at when it ruptured at open Nats, I didn't really think too much of it. I just felt a tiny pop. And I was oh shit, it's another 2 weeks of rehab. Oh no, but we'll be all right. And then I think I got home, got to my hotel, and I looked at my arm. My arm was black, and I was this looks a little worse.
Yeah, it's the symptom of like all the bruising, like the typical grade 2 tear look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's rough.
it was great.
Yeah, right. So I guess when you were training up to opens, it wasn't really affecting you in terms of like pain.
No, like I mean, the bench like took a big hit because bench was very up and down. So I think it was 3 weeks after the grade 2 pec tear. So I tore it on 145, and then 2 weeks after that, or 3 weeks, I did 120, and that was fine. And then I think 3 or 4 days after that, I had a really hard set of squats. It was a set of 5 at like 190. And on the last rep, as I came out the hole, my elbow like flared up a little bit, and then I just felt it pop. And I was like, oh no. And then from there, it was just like rapid decline.
Yeah, right. Did it affect like your mindset at nationals? Like how were you feeling on the day?
I don't know. Like I was very I don't know. I had a very detached sort of thing. I was kind of like, oh, well, this is I started off missing my first squat because my wrist straps were wrapped too high. And I was like, oh, well, here we go. So I was just like preparing for like the worst day. And it turned out a little better. Like it was all right. Like I didn't bomb. So that was positive. You know what I mean? So squats went all right, but I think as soon as I stepped off like out onto the platform and I got under the bar and I walked out, and I could feel the pec and I could feel it start playing up. And so every squat I could just feel it tearing a little more and more. And then so I went back to the back room and just opened a pack of Nurofen and just had like 3 or 4 of them. And I don't usually take Nurofen. And I was like, well, this is the time to start now. And so I didn't feel anything at all. And so that's why I think on my third bench, like on my second bench, I was like, oh, I'm good for 120 right now. Like my second bench for like context was like 97, but I was just like, oh, I'm good for it. And then I think my third bench was 105. And then I touched my chest. And as soon as I came up, I just felt it go. And I was like, oh, we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Yeah. But did you kind of like have the mindset of like, this is qualifying me to go to Worlds, so I've just got to do it?
Yeah, like I didn't really, not doing it wasn't really an option. Like we qualified for Worlds with like the second dead, and we could have timed out our third, but I just couldn't do that. I couldn't just like walk away from that and be like, oh,
yeah.
But I have one more deadlift left. Like I still got to go.
Yeah, that's a really good mindset to have.
All of this was also in the midst of you prepping for like your HSC examinations as well, right? Because I remember like funny stories, like me, like I'm at the airport and I just see you walk past and we just got to chat a little bit like, oh, so like what's going on with nationals prep? And you're like, oh yeah, it's going well. And then you also said, oh, I've got exams like this coming week as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was like another interesting little puzzle to the piece. Yeah, like I think I finished my English paper 2 the morning that I flew out. So I finished my English paper 2, ran home, grabbed all my stuff, bolted it to the airport where I ran into Danny. And then we talked a little and then flew out to Queensland. Competed the next day, and then stayed for like one more day after that for like day 3, went back, and then I had my maths HSC, I think like the next day on like the Tuesday. Which was great,
lots of study going on that weekend.
100%. I was in the books all day, but it was
barbell maths, man. Barbell maths.
Yeah. I was sitting there crunching red, blue. Like
that's so good. That's funny.
It was a very hectic couple of weeks.
Yeah, I bet. And then I guess after comp, you would have had more exams, and then you got your surgery as well. How did that go?
So
how was the surgery?
The surgery was great. So I had, I think, 3 more exams when I came back. And I saw my surgeon, I think the week of, or the week after I got back. And so I wasn't able to write. I wouldn't have been able to write. So he just told me, like, we can wait like 1 more week, just finish your exams, and we'll have the surgery. So I finished all my exams, and then I think it was literally the next day of finishing my exam, he moved it up. So we had that surgery on, I think it was Tuesday. It was like November 1st. Stayed the night. It was great. Went out the next day. And then chaos ensued. But it was good. I think the worst part about like the surgery and like recovering was like the pain from actually like having it reattached and like having like the incision and the scar. Because like before the surgery, like I was fine. Like my arm was black, but like there was no pain, that like I could move everything. Like yeah. So
Yeah.
it was more like after the surgery, I was like, but I was fine before, and now I'm in like all this pain from the surgery. So it's like, how is this helping
Wasn't
me?
worth the surgery.
It wasn't worth it.
Yeah. And how did training go? Like, what were the protocols around you getting back to training, and how did you work around that with Steve?
So there were a lot of interesting things we used. So I think Raz, or Rainier Cortez, like Raz Output, he sent me a Liz Craven post like 2 days after surgery, and it was her like deadlifting with this like weird strap. And I was like, oh, well, that could be pretty useful. So I went and hit up Liz Craven, asked her which got the strap, and she told me. So I got the strap. And so that was deadlift sorted. And so yeah, we were deadlifting with this like really strange contraption, which was horrible, absolutely horrible. Like it was falling off my back. It was a pain in the ass to set up, but that got like deadlift volume in. So that was good. That was something. And then just SSB basically. And so it was just those SSB, and that was us for like 6 or 7 weeks until I got out the sling. And then once I got out the sling, we just slowly tried to reintroduce everything. So we went from, in terms of deadlifts, we went from the strap deadlifts to trap bars, to then slowly getting in like actual like deadlifts with a bar. And then like SSB went to high bar, and then eventually low bar, which is where we're at now.
Okay.
Must have been a huge journey. Like how was Steve with it throughout this whole journey?
Steve was just like trying to like keep me like restrain me, because I just wanted to go. Like I was like, get me under a bar. And then Steve also wanted me under a bar. But it was like, as soon as I got like the okay from like the surgeon, my physio Nelson, as soon as like we were all good, like we went for it, and we were like, we're good to go. And it was just like a very, very slow introduction into it, into the movements. So like even with bench, we started floor pressing with dumbbells, and then moved that into push-ups, and then benching, and then like benching like once a week, then benching twice a week, and then that's where we're at now.
Yeah. How did you find like that transition mentally?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I enjoyed it. Like, I don't find powerlifting very interesting. Like, I find it very boring. And having something like fun, even though it was like hell, it was fun to do something like really weird and different that I wouldn't have normally done. So it was enjoyable, and like SSBs were like heavy. So there was like that aspect of it, which I could be like, yeah, but I'm SSBing heavy, so it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what was your heaviest strap deadlift?
I think I did 170 for like 5, but I think on the last rep last rep, the strap kept like falling off my back because I couldn't like because it was in a sling. I couldn't like hold it on, so I just had to rely on like chalk and friction, and it was But there are multiple videos of it like falling off like mid rep and me just like flinging out of the camera frame.
Oh man.
Oh
Like,
god.
I could imagine like another risk is like the strap breaking as well, right? Like it's not your hands. Like just so much wrong that could go with it. But like, I mean, you're stuck with what you got, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it was better than like not doing anything. Like before the strap came, I tried to like find a way to do some like hyperextensions. So I got like a dip belt and then went to the hyperextension, like tied it around like my chest and then like tried to get weights. But then I couldn't really like get off it once I got on. So which I realized after like I got on. But yeah, I was doing that for a bit and then the strap came and started those.
So you saw it more as a challenge rather than like negatively.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like it's like when else would you do like strap deadlifts or like any of those? So it was just like it was fun and like interesting to see what I could do so limited.
Yeah, for sure. And so you're back to regular training now?
Like I'd say we're at a stage where like injury free, but just like very weak. But like there's pretty much nothing essentially that like I couldn't do before that I can't do now. Just at like a much lower resistance or lighter weight.
Yeah.
I think one thing I've been seeing a lot on Instagram between you and Steve is like the changing of identity from being this injured person as someone who's actually a world's athlete and is prepping for worlds, right? Like I think one big thing has been like just the name of your blocks changing. Do you want to go a bit into like how that's been?
Well, we started off with like just nothing. Because it was just like every week I'd unlock this new ability or like I just like I can do some floor press now. So it was a very reactive first block. And then the second block, which was kind of more like normal-ish, it was called like we add bench. And then I was and that was also like the first block it was like my deadlifts were just like not having a good time. And I was begging Steve, I was like, can I have singles on my deads? Like, give me whatever you want on squats, whatever you want on bench. I just want a single on deads. And then this block, which is he named it singles because he gave me the single. And then next block is Road to Romania.
Nice. So when does that block start?
So this is week 3 of this block. So in 3 weeks, whenever this one ends, we'll jump onto that one.
Yeah. Do you think anything's going to change when you start that block? Like, are you going to change like how you approach your training or anything, or it's kind of just the same as what you've been doing?
Not really, to be honest. Like, I think for me, if I get to like in it, especially with like bench, I tend to like not think. And that's when I sort of like ignore stuff that I can't be ignoring right now with bench. Like on squats and deads, I can just sort of like put my music on, sing my Adele, just have time in my life and just like do my sets, do my reps, and that's fine. But with bench, I just like, I need to be aware of what's happening and just so I can pay like extra attention to the pec and like, if anything goes wrong, I can feel that and I can address it. So just like slowly transitioning out of that into like just being able to bench, sort of like thoughtlessly. But other than that, like everything's pretty chill, like pretty normal.
Yeah. Is that like technique stuff that you got to look out for, or is it more like symptoms of pain coming up?
I don't know. Like the thing is, like I said before, like I never had pain with the pec. It's just like a very small like tearing sensation.
Yeah.
So like if I'm blasting like music and I'm like hyped and I'm just like focused and in the zone, I'm not like one little like flicker of the pec. Like I can't really feel that and like address that. So it's just like being more aware. But like as like the last 2-3 weeks, it's been good. Like I'll be warming up and like the first like times I benched after surgery, I was sort of like, I don't know, waiting for something to happen. Like I'll do like 40. I'll be like, oh, where is it? Where's the tear? When's it coming? And it just didn't. So just slowly progressing from that. And just like just trying to pay less attention to it is the goal, basically.
Yeah. Whilst kind of like you said with bench, you kind of still have to be a little bit aware of it in a way, because you know that once you get like super focused in the zone, you know, with your earphones, your music, that's when you kind of, I guess it's a good thing as an athlete, right? Like to be able to get into that zone, but while still managing that pec tear or, you know, with your physio, all of that stuff, still being aware of it when you need to be. But yeah, transitioning out of that, I think is really good. Yeah. Do you have any comps coming up before Worlds, or are you just going to run straight into it?
I don't know. I think the plan is right now just to run straight into it. But that could change. We don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But we'll see what Steve says. But I think that's the plan.
Yeah. Because you're sub junior. Is that right? Yeah. You got
sub junior.
Lots of time.
Hell of time. Like I think 6 years or 7 years till opens. So
crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. On top of that as well, like you've got programming check, you've got a rehab specialist as well. You've also got a nutritionist as well, right? So like at such a young age, you've got everything. You've already got a team around you, which is crazy, right? In powerlifting. How has your nutrition been as well? Because like we've had a chat in the gym about how things have changed in terms of like motivation and things like that. So how is motivation and nutrition linked together post surgery and going into now?
It's good. Like so I started with Kedrick I think start of this year. And I was doing nutrition for pretty much the entirety of last year with Aiden. And so like it's been good. Like I like the structure that like nutrition coaching gives me, and it's like something I can follow. And so like Kedrick's a genius, like absolute genius. A lot of things he says is just like what in one ear and out the other. But like he's very instructive, and he gives, I don't know, he's like he sets out a plan, and it's very easy for me to follow that, which I like and enjoy. So I'm not thinking too much, I'm just doing like what I need to do. And that allows me just like focus on things that like I need to focus on, like training and like sleeping, all that. And it just like takes one thing off my plate that I need to do and lets me divert sort of like more energy towards the rest.
Yeah, for sure. And in the midst of this, you're now a uni student as well, right? So like, I mean, when HSC to uni, that academic stress is still hugely important for you, and it's, you know, always there, right?
Yeah.
So it's very helpful to have a team around you.
Yeah,
how do you
good.
find how do you find like managing uni with training?
Well, I mean, I'm only in like week 4 or 5 or
okay.
week 4 this week. So right now it's been good. Like I timetabled everything, so I can do uni in the morning and then just train straight after. And then like on my rest days, like no uni, and they're like just like rest days are rest days. So it's just like I can just chill and do some like maybe work like occasionally, but it's just very there so I can like de-stress and just relax. It's been really good actually in terms of like getting my steps in, because I'll get into my session and I have like 12K already like ticked off the box, as opposed to like waking up and just going and training and it's like 200 steps. I feel like horrible. So yeah, uni is pretty much just like a place I could walk around, do a couple classes and then go train. Like yeah, it very beneficial like so far.
Yeah, that's good. Seems like you got your routine.
Yeah.
Is the stress different compared to high school?
I find it very chill. Like I'm doing chemistry, and so like all I'm doing is like chemistry and like maths, which is what I enjoy doing. So it's like that's all I have to do, and like I'm just doing what I enjoy.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not too stressful.
Yeah. So you ended up doing all right in the maths HSC without study.
Yeah, I did right. Like because I think I had extension before the Queensland, and then everything after Nats was just horrible. But it was right.
Yeah, nice.
Price worth paying for. You punched your ticket to Romania.
And then punched out of the HSC. It was bad. But yeah, it was good. We're on the other side.
Yeah, that's good. Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like you've got your plan pretty sorted going into Worlds, which is really good to hear. So whereabouts do you train? I think you train with Danny, is that right? Same gym?
So so I split my time between Omega, which is like the one Daddy trains at, and Breakthrough. And they're very like proximal to each other. There's like 7 minutes between them. So usually I'll squat and dead at Breakthrough and then go over to Omega, the bench.
Yeah.
They're the V2.
Yeah.
The city.
But yeah.
You got a good environment around you, like going into Worlds.
I mean, yeah, like they're both great gyms. Like Breakthrough's very big, so you get like fuck ton of people, everyone's screaming at you, everyone's wanting you to do great. The Omega is like a bit smaller, so it's like you can talk a bit more, you can move more, but you also, everyone's working.
Yeah, that's good. Nice.
Very good.
And then for Worlds, this obviously would be your first time going? Yeah. How are you feeling like with traveling overseas and stuff to compete?
The travel is going to be interesting, because it's like a long trip. It's like what 30 something 20 something hours. So I think that's probably going to be the worst of it. But I mean, like at the end of the day, it's like another platform, like same sport, same lifts. Like there's not too much. As long as I like do everything to a standard like they're happy with, like that's all I can do at the end of the day. Yeah, like it's just another comp, to be honest. Like it's like I haven't been before, so I don't know what to expect. So I like there's no point me expecting like something worse or something extreme, even though like it's like it is this like top level thing, but it's like if I expect the worst, like there's no point me like expecting me to perform my best.
I guess being so far out as well, like and like with your rehab and everything, you wouldn't really have numbers in mind, or so you kind of just going with the flow?
Going with the flow, like as best as we can do, like that's the goal, to be honest. Like and we'll see where
getting to the platform.
Getting to the platform, making it past bench.
Yeah.
Are you planning to travel like on your own as well, or is like family, friends coming with you?
No, I'll go on my own.
Oh man. 30 hours. First time international as well, like especially on your own?
Oh no, No,
Oh, nice.
no.
Okay.
But yeah, it wouldn't be. But yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Nah, I guess that's a good mindset to have, like, especially being so young, you've still got so many years ahead of you, and just getting this experience under your belt so early is really good.
Mm.
Yeah, cool. I think that's kind of all the questions that I've got, unless you want to go through anything else, Danny.
I think we're good.
Yeah,
Thanks
awesome.
for jumping on, Zayd.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck. We will be watching